What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in this episode, we'll be doing a recap of episode 8 of Daredevil Born Again. And I mean, this episode was probably my favorite episode so far. I mean, I know I say this every week, but holy shit, they cooked with this episode. And I mean, I have no words. Let's get right into this one. Fair warning, there are spoilers ahead for Daredevil Born Again episode 8. So click off this video right now if you have not seen it. But I mean, this show has not missed once, bro. I mean, the way it's directed is just peak. And by the way, episode 8 and episode 9 are like the first episodes that were shot with the new creative team. So it was post the creative overhaul. So I mean, they have like elements like I think they had the crew from the old Netflix show come back, and I think they had some of the writers from Moon Knight and Loki working on this. And I mean, they cooked. I mean, I'm so excited for episode 9 next week. So let's get straight into this one. So this episode basically starts off with us getting a scene of a guy cutting like flowers. They're blue flowers, and then it kind of zooms out and shows that it's in the prison. And it zooms out a little bit more, and we see Dex standing there looking out the window. And we actually find out that Dex is being moved from solitary confinement to general population. So that basically means that someone wants him dead. And throughout this scene, it kind of like engulfs Dex like with like a bluish camera filter, basically. So every time we see him, and we see him kind of like lock in when he gets into like Gen Pop, it's kind of like a bluish like camera filter, like aura, surrounding him. And I really like this, like kind of like I really like what they did with Dex here, to kind of associate him with the color blue, like it's really interesting to see. And I mean, it's been what, 7 episodes since we last saw Dex? I mean, he was in what, episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again? So I mean, I love him as a character. And I'm so happy that they brought him back, and you can really tell that the new creative teams that work here, with this new camera, I guess with this new kind of color contrast, But I mean, this is not the last we've seen of Dex, It gets good later on, trust me. But we get a shot of Fisk and Vanessa standing outside like this like ragtaggy ass building, and I guess Fisk and Vanessa were working together the whole time to kill Luca, I mean, because we see them kind of talk about Luca, and I guess Vanessa was actually working with Fisk. She wasn't trying to kill Fisk. She was working with him to kill Luca. But Fisk is basically like, Vanessa, I have something to show you. But it kind of cuts to Matt kind of looking out the window at his apartment, and I guess then we see him and Heather kind of had like an argument, between about like vigilantes and Muse and all that. And Heather's like, Muse and Daredevil, they're kind of like the same thing, And Matt's like, what? They're completely different people, Daredevil tried to save you, Muse tried to kill you. And Heather's like, Daredevil didn't try to save me, they're all working for themselves. I saved myself. And I mean, fair point, Heather, you shot Muse. But as this entire like kind of scene, it basically keeps switching in between Vanessa and Fisk and Heather and Matt. So it basically keeps cutting back and forth between them two, or the two couples. And we cut to Fisk, and he's like, Vanessa, I promised you that I wouldn't kill Adam. And here he is. And he shows Vanessa Adam in his like little cell. And he basically gives Vanessa an ultimatum. And okay, we cut back to Matt and Heather, and they're still kind of disagreeing. And there's a knock on the door, and it's actually Fisk's assistant, Buck. And I mean, this guy's the wannabe James Wesley, bro. Like, you were not James Wesley, man. But I mean, Buck is low-key kind of a cool guy, But he basically sends Heather an invitation to a ball. It's like, the mayor and the first lady wants you to come over, for the ball. And Matt is like, you are not going there, Heather. He's like, why? Why, Matt? And we cut back to Fisk and Vanessa, and Fisk hands Vanessa a key to the cell and a gun. And he's basically like, you have two choices here. And oh my God, the scene is amazing. But anyways, we see Matt and Heather kind of arguing, and and Heather's like, Matt, like if you're so, and Matt basically tells Heather that, Fisk is doing this on purpose to get to me, and he's trying to corrupt you, Heather. And Vanessa's like, if you're so afraid of me getting corrupted, you should come with me. And Matt's like, no, I wasn't even invited. And Heather's like, Heather, and any guess? Matt's like, fuck, I'll come with you. But yeah, we see Matt leave, and then we come back to Vanessa, and she literally mag dumps Adam, bro. Like, she goes bang, 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 bang. Like, bro, he's already dead, Vanessa. He's dead. So I guess Fisk and Vanessa made up, man. There's no more divorce at this point. But anyways, we cut to Matt in the office with Kirsten, and she basically is like, I got some bad news for you, Matt. They moved Dex to general population, and guess who moved him? Wilson Fisk. But he's asking for you, Matt. He wants to ask you something. I mean, Matt's like, can I get front row seats? Until he hears the whole thing that Fisk is actually the one that moved him. So Matt is kind of in like a really bad mood this entire time. But we move on, and we see Fisk with his little goon squad, which is made up of Daniel Blake, the #1 Fisk Glazer, like that fucking donut, bro. Buck, and then Sheila, I think is like the press manager. But, I mean, like the manager for his campaign. But we see Fisk is telling them that the task force has done a very good job. I mean, vigilantism is down by 30% apparently. So Fisk is so happy that all this is happening that he gives Daniel a promotion. I mean, guys, if you didn't know this, glazing gets you places. Trust me, glazing gets you places. Daniel got head of communications for the Fisk mayor office, I mean, and he basically goes, Mr. Fisk, I swear to God that I will spend night and day toiling for you. I will spend every last breath of my life to toil for you. I mean, zip it up when you're done, Matt. Or not Matt. Daniel, bro, zip it up when you're done. He's doing tricks on it. He's dancing on it, bro. But glazing gets you places, trust me. But anyways, we see Matt, and he actually goes to Josie's, which has shut down since the whole Foggy's death and like the bullseye incident in the first episode of Daredevil Born Again. And Josie invites Matt in for a drink. And Cherry basically comes in there too, because apparently Kirsten asked him to kind of keep tabs on Matt, And Josie tells Matt that Foggy actually ordered this really special bottle that he only apparently drinks when he's celebrating. Like after he wins a case or something, a celebratory moment. And Matt was like, he was still in the case though. So why would he be drinking that bottle unless he was celebrating something? So basically, Matt comes to the conclusion that someone wanted him dead because he had something that he would have already... Foggy was basically almost like, yeah, I've won my case already, Like this case I'm working on, I have cooked enough that I can win it. But somebody wanted him dead. So Matt is like, oh shit. And he gets up out of there and he goes to prison where Dex is. And he visits Dex in prison. And he's basically like, Wilson Fisk hired you to kill Foggy. And Dex is like, man, I ain't telling you shit. You know what I will do though? If you can get me out of Gen Pop, in exchange for that, I will give you information on who wanted Foggy dead. And he basically hits Matt with a line that, in another life, you'd probably be defending me. Because that's what good men do, right? Defend their worst enemies. And Matt crashes out in this scene. He smashes Dex's head on the table. And he calls in the guard. He's like, yeah, this guy right here, he started smashing his head on the table. Had nothing to do with the guard. And I mean, Matt, looking back, Matt, that was a huge mistake, bro. But I mean, we get to the ball, and we see all these like rich people, you know. And I mean, what was that, like 2 episodes ago, maybe? Yeah, about 2 episodes ago, we saw like Fisk, that's like that formal mayor's event thing where all the rich people are kind of like dogging him. They're like, "We know who you are, Fisk. We're not supporting you one bit." But this time, we see Jack, you know, the swordsman, Jack Duquesne, and he's basically like walking around. He's looking at all these rich people, and they're all kind of scared, you know. They're all really scared of Fisk, apparently. But Jack isn't, you know, because Jack is a goat. Jack is a goat. But we cut to Heather then. Heather's at the ball, and she's calling up Matt. She's like, "I can't believe you stood me up like that, man." And we see Vanessa and Fisk come out, introduce themselves, you know, the mayor and the first lady. We are the kings of the city, king and queen of the city now. And, I mean, we see Dex in prison again, and he's getting stitches on his head for what Matt did to him, banging his head on the table. And the doctor finishes up the stitches, and the guard's like, "All right, let's get you back in Gen Pop here, you know." And we see Dex just start smiling at him. He's like, and there's a tooth. He like dislodged one of his teeth, and he's like ready. He's like, he spits it at the guy, goes straight in his eye. I mean, this is peak bullseye. I mean, he did the comic thing. He did the comic thing, man. But, anyways, he gets up out of the chair and he kills the guard. He kills the doctor. I mean, I love Dex, and the entire like screen is just blue, which once again is blue in this episode symbolizes bullseye, you know. And I really love that the creative team has done that. But we cut to Matt pulling up to the party, and he's kind of talking to Heather, and Heather's like, "You're not even listening to me, Matt." And Matt indeed is not listening to her. He is, in fact, overhearing a conversation between Fisk and Jack Duquesne. And Fisk is basically just threatening Jack. He's like, "You know, I know who you are. You're the swordsman, aren't you, Jack? And, you know, I mean, I would really hate to, you know, call my task force on you, Jack, you know, arrest you and all. But you know what you can do for me? Give me a fat donation." And Jack's like, "You threatening me, bro?" So Matt is just overhearing this entire conversation. And I mean, Fisk literally like lil bros Jack. And when they leave the room, we see a reporter trying to take a picture of Fisk. And he sends a task force after the reporter. And this, I mean, we get to see like the full power of the task force here. We see Officer Powell, which, I mean, I hate this guy with a burning passion, bro. Officer Powell, I hate you, bro. And he basically is like, let's burn his, what are they were trying to, okay. In this scene, we see that the former police chief, you know, he's like, he comes in, he's like, "What are you guys doing to this reporter? What are you guys doing to him?" And they're like, "Man, we don't answer to you, Unc. We don't answer to you. We answer for the Big Willie. We don't work for you." And he's like, "This is illegal." And they basically just take the reporter's hand and they deep fry it, bro. Like, oh my God. And the police commissioner is mad. And we actually see BB Urich, who wasn't invited to this party. And she's basically like, "If you ever have any intel for me, police chief, you know, call or email me." And he's like, "Oh, do I have intel for you?" So basically, I guess we are about to see BB Urich cook. And I mean, oh my goodness, BB Urich is gonna cook in this, man. But anyways, we see that Matt and Heather are still having their earlier kind of like disagreements, you know. And Matt is basically like, "Let's go talk to Fisk." And how convenient. They turn on the slow dancing at that convenient time that Matt is about to go and approach Fisk. But it's basically Fisk and Vanessa, they start slow dancing. And Buck, in fact, actually gets a call. And he gets a call that Dex has escaped prison, and he basically goes to Elder Fisk and he's like, Bullseye has escaped prison. And Vanessa goes to Fisk, and we hear Vanessa go, I have something to tell you. And Matt overhears this entire thing, and Matt actually realizes that Vanessa is the one that killed Foggy. She's the one that had Foggy killed. Oh my God, why? But anyways, we then see Matt kind of interject himself into it. He and Heather start dancing, and he kind of just like, they end up switching partners, He gives Heather off to Fisk, and he takes Vanessa, and he's like, why did you kill Foggy? I know you did. She's like, does your girlfriend know that you're a daredevil, Matt? And I mean, during this whole time, Fisk is basically like, so, Heather, do you know your boyfriend's other half? His darker half. And this entire scene is insane. We see Matt confronting Vanessa about why she killed Foggy, and, it's kind of like a back and forth between both of them. And while this is all going on, Dex is in the building. He basically takes a police officer's fit, a sniper rifle, and this scene is insane. You can really see how the creative team really cooked in this scene, You can see Matt, the aspect ratio kind of changes as you hear as you hear Dex loading up the sniper rifle. And oh my goodness, the screen turns blue for when Dex is aiming. And he ends up aiming at Fisk, and he fires the bullet, and Matt jumps in front of it. Matt takes the bullet, and he starts bleeding out on the floor. Screen just turns red. And Fisk and Vanessa kind of get taken out of the building by the task force. Matt is just left on the ground, and the screen turns red, which is, an amazing contrast between Dex's blue camera filter and Matt's red camera filter. And, this scene, really contrasts nicely. It really brings back to that Dex quote, where he's basically like, Bullseye here, he gives Matt the opportunity to defend his worst enemy, but because Matt takes a bullet for Fisk, I really like that blue symbolism for Daredevil, or not for Daredevil, for Dex, and the red symbolism for Matt here. They contrasted really well, and the creative team cooked. But this episode basically just ends in a cliffhanger with Matt bleeding out on the floor. And I am hyped for next week's episode. I can't believe they ended off with a cliffhanger. But this episode, they cooked. They absolutely cooked. That's basically all for this episode. Next week is the finale. It will be dropping Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, I am hyped. I am absolutely hyped for this. Season 2 needs to come out sooner, man. I can't wait a whole year for season 2. This show has cooked. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll see you next week. We have a lot to talk about in the finale, hopefully. Absolute cinema.